Hey friend, welcome to my podcast, The Fit Soul. I'm your host, Amy Ramsey. In this podcast, we will be discussing soul-filled strategies to unleash your confidence, increase your energy, and all the things healthy lifestyle. If you're a Christian woman who is ready to reach your God-given potential, walk worthy of your calling with abundant joy and energy, girlfriend, you are in the right spot. I mean, you only have one life to live. You might as well maximize it. Buckle in, and thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Fit Soul podcast. I have my favorite human and our two furry pets. We have the whole family. Welcome, Randy.
Family, yes.
We're trying to record this podcast and we can't seem to go to a quiet spot where the dogs won't be. So if you hear them, just know this is like real life, y'all. Okay, Randy, welcome back.
Glad to be back.
You happen to be one of our most favorite guests. Not only mine, but other people love it when you get on, when you're on the podcast. So thank you for doing this with me again.
You are so very kindly welcome.
Very kindly welcome. Today, our topic of conversation is how to reset your body, reclaim your energy, and get your healthy habits back on track. Randy and I we both have been on a mission for this most of our adult lives. It's something that we're both very committed to, our own individual health, and also we're very committed to helping others with that. And we've been on our own journey as well. And recently, we've both released, I released, it started with 9 pounds and it's continued from there. And how about you?
I lost 11, I guess, in a 29-day period.
29-day period. So we both went and did my Metabolism Reset, a 30-day challenge. And the challenge was designed, I had to dig deep to figure out what my body, my midlife body needed. What used to work no longer works. There is a smaller window of tolerance for a diet that's not on track and not keeping up with exercise. And as our bodies are changing and hormones are changing, stress impacts the body differently. It's less forgiving. And so I've been on a hard journey to figure out what I needed, and decided this last spring, I was like, I am done. I am finished. I need a 30-day reset. I know what I need, but I'm not holding myself accountable. I am not keeping myself on track. And I actually knew exactly what I needed to do and created this program for a lot of reasons. And Randy was like, hey, I want to do that. And so I thought, well, let me just get a male perspective on here for this program. So thank you again for being here. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the habits that you've created since we did this just a few months ago. Like, I really watched you take it seriously. And I've watched you come in from working really long, really hard days. You're absolutely exhausted and you're like, I gotta get my steps in. Let me go for a little walk. I've watched you be really tired but committed to reading and doing some of the things that we set forth in the challenge. So can you just tell us from your perspective some of the benefits of the challenge and how it helped you to get back on track, but more importantly, get you some results, but that's helped you to create healthier patterns, even in your day-to-day life where it's super busy?
Well, I think if you're looking at creating habits, you have to realize that the habits you may have held all these years, if they're not working, you have to work to reestablish them. I had done very well for years, writing down my nutrition, writing down my exercise, and over the last year I had fell away from that. And there's no easy way to get back to it. You have to make a decision to put a plan in place, and you have to carry out that plan. And for me, having a checklist that's sent to me every day on an app where I can check off the things I do is very beneficial. And I didn't do all of them all the time, and that's not what this challenge was about. It's doing as much as you can and resetting your habits for long-term success.
Yeah, that's so good. This challenge is designed with neuroscience intact, with utilizing tools. My goal really was to help bring back a connection and awareness of food and optimizing nutrition, but also utilizing an approach that will help empower you to make decisions moving forward. Now, it's beneficial if your spouse will do this with you, but even if not, you'll find benefits doing it alone. But one of the things that Rainey and I really learned so it's a 30-day challenge. The first few weekends, we were like eating out, and then we would track our food, be like, oh, okay, I see where we could not order French fries or just make a few swaps with what we're ordering when we're out to eat. And I felt like in the weekends, that was the biggest aha. And it wasn't even that hard to go, okay, no, we don't need to order an appetizer. And, oh, wow, I didn't realize how many desserts we were ordering, or
right,
how much sweets we were ordering, or how often we were deviating from a healthy diet. It didn't seem that unhealthy, but once we started tracking it, we were both like, oh, okay, we can do better. We can tighten up on the weekends.
Well, I agree. I think weekends are a big deal. One thing about the program that was essential to me is the weighing daily. If you weigh daily, you can see how what you did the day before affected your weight on a day-to-day basis. I think if you just weigh one day a week, you're not going to get to where you want to be.
Right. I'm glad you brought that point up, because weighing daily is actually recommended as far as tracking data. Again, this was all data-driven, science-backed approaches. And there was a lashback with weight, because for a lot of people, especially if you have an unhealthy relationship with a scale, which I did, I was obsessive for many years, and I had to step away from the scale. So I don't know that one is for everyone. I do pre-qualify that if you have a healthy relationship with the scale. But it's actually recommended. Many nutritionists and dietitians and scientists recommend stepping on that scale, because it actually provides accountability. And if you can just look at it as data of, oh, okay, because sometimes the scale goes up because you're doing a lot of stress. If you had a lot of stress for that day or that week and you're holding on to it. But that was helpful for a lot of people to go, oh, okay, this is how the weekend is impacting the scales.
I agree with that. I mean, just looking at my own weight, I would gain 3 to 5 pounds every weekend, and then I would work Monday through Thursday to get back to baseline, and then I would eat poorly on the weekend, and I would be right back on Monday where I was. So something had to be done differently on the weekends, and I think that's a lot of people's pattern. You eat and drink more on the weekends, and your weight goes up, and you never lose during the week because you're just getting back down to what you were the week before.
Come on, that's right. That's a lot of people really resonate with that. So it's the 30 days is a chance to bring freshness, awareness. I just listened to a training, and it was so fascinating to me. They were talking about what is the number one effect that makes a change and an impact on your brain. And I found this absolutely fascinating. I'm not setting it quite up for how powerful it was, but it's novelty. Novelty. Introducing novelty into your life helps to have a greater effect of change for your brain. And so if you think about a challenge, that's all a challenge is. It's bringing novelty. What we did for 30 days was sustainable. But the reality is that most of us don't want to track our food for all the time. It's not it's a tool, and I like to use it as a tool. And when I need to get back on track, or if I'm starting to falter some, it's the tool I use to go back. But it's not something that for everyone is sustainable. But for 30 days, when you take that time and you dial it in, you will start to optimize your nutrition, and you're going to start to figure out what your body needs right now for the age and the stage that it's in. Also, movement was a big thing. A lot of people realized they just were not moving their body enough. And the challenge helped bring that awareness around how many steps they were taking and how often or not often they were exercising. It just really helps when you're in a challenge like that, especially when you're held accountable. It helps you to identify the struggles that you're having consistently and how you're going to overcome those struggles.
I agree with that. I think consistency is the key. When I look at checking the list off that you're given, I would have said before this 30-day challenge that I exercise 5 to 7 days a week. But when I had to check it off, I realized I actually exercised 3 to 4 days a week. And so at the end of the day, during the challenge, to check that box off, I would have to make myself go exercise, even if I was tired at the end of the day, or I had to get up earlier, which I don't like to do, and get my exercise in.
Yeah. So there's some studies that's really interesting that the majority of people think they are eating healthier than they actually are, and that they're exercising more than they actually are. And the challenge is an opportunity just to bring a fresh perspective, fresh awareness around what you're doing and or are not doing with community, with a group of people that are over 40 and above that are on this same trajectory. In this challenge, another big key component of this challenge is stress management and really learning how to create healthy patterns to deal with stress. This is where so many people self-sabotage with emotional eating, stress eating, numbing out on social media or in front of a TV, grabbing alcohol and sugary snacks and processed foods when we're feeling that sense of stress instead of coping with it in healthy ways. And this is, again, an opportunity to bring awareness around it, and then with a guide, a coach, me, walking you through the steps to help you understand some of those cognitive distortions and bring awareness to where you have those bad habits, but how a habit loop, how do you create a healthy habit and stop the bad habit? That's a big gap a lot of people actually never make. They actually don't understand the process of change. They don't understand what it's going to require of them, and they quit too soon.
How long does it take to establish a habit?
Well, that's a really good question because, for a long time we used to say how long. Do you remember? 21 days, 21 days, 21 days. That is the way that we establish a habit loop is reinforcing a neural pathway, a new neural pathway loop in the brain. And so it can be started, but it's solidified at around day 63 to day 67. And just understanding how do you actually form that. Randy keeps referring to a checklist and an app. I have an app that is science-based, neuroscience-based. It's meant to help solidify the habit loop. You know that silly thumb that comes out every time you check it? A big thumb comes up in front of you, or a high five.
Yes.
It's a little bit dorky, but I walk you through this process as well. There is your brain, what is rewarded in your brain is repeated. And that's that last part of the habit loop. So you have a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. That's the habit loop. And that last part, you want to tell your brain, good job, way to go. And so another thing that's super important that we do in this challenge that you have to click off, but I will tell you this for whatever habit you're building, is celebrating your successes. Somehow or another, as humans, we have a way of looking at everything we didn't do. That's what we see first, instead of acknowledging the fact that, hey, look, I did this today. This is pretty good. Way to go. And so just taking that time to celebrate your successes. So you can, instead of going from a trigger to a behavior to the self-sabotaging behaviors that perhaps that you're stuck in, which is where I was stuck in May. And that's where you were stuck before you started.
Well, I agree with that. I think celebrating the small wins.
Yes.
If there are 8 things on the app checklist and you don't do all 8, but you do 5 or 6, celebrate that you did 5 or 6. There's no punishment that if you don't do all 8, then you have to start all over like some other programs.
Yeah.
You say, I did 5 or 6. Tomorrow I'll try to do 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But I celebrate the ones I did do, even if I only did 2 or 3 that day.
So good, so good. So the basis of this program for me, real quick, he's alluding to other programs. A lot of people are familiar with Andrew Frisella's 75 Hard, which I've done that twice. And man, that was a kick in the pants. I was successful in completing it. It was incredibly hard. So when I was looking for a reset, I honestly couldn't find one. I could not find a program to join. I couldn't find anything that I could join to give me this integrative approach to personal growth, stress management, optimizing nutrition, and making sure that the exercise piece, the training piece was on point, along with a community. I couldn't find what I was looking for. So therefore I created my own, but I didn't want it. I wanted it to be sustainable, healthy habits. It's enough to keep you tight for 30 days to help reset your metabolism. And then after that, you're on a trajectory of more success. After I did 75 Hard, and I've talked to a lot of other people who did it as well and completed it, once it was over, because it wasn't sustainable, like 2 45-minute workouts, 1 mandatory 45-minute workout outside, that's not sustainable. Most people don't have time for that. So I wanted this program to be designed to give you tools, to give you data, to empower you to move forward with healthy habits, sustainable habits in place.
I agree. I think it's a very well-designed program, and you're not getting sent an exercise package that, you do this for 30 minutes every day. You choose what you want to do. And if you don't want to do the 30 minutes, that's fine. Just don't check it off.
Yeah.
But, things like drinking the appropriate amount of water, taking time every day for self-care, celebrating the little wins, taking time to read a book, not pick your iPad up and read something but pick up a book and turn pages. There's something about that resets the brain as well and reduces stress. So those things were good for me.
Yeah, so good. So anyway, our next 30-day reset is kicking off. It will be doing it in September. You can join now. You can go to the show notes and grab the link, or you can go to midlifemetabolism.com and join there. If you're listening to this not during the month of September and you're just maybe catching this, go ahead and go and get on the wait list for the next one. But if you're listening to this in real time at the end of August, we sold out when I did this for June. We absolutely sold out. And I do suspect this one will sell out. I'm I'm personally excited about going through the program. There's over $1,000 worth of grand prize giveaways. There's a money back guarantee on this one, satisfaction guaranteed. That is how confident I am in this program and in this process. And everyone who successfully completes the challenge will win a gift. So I'm really excited about it. Randy's really excited to do it again.
Very excited.
We are very excited to do it again. And I want to encourage you, if you're feeling stuck in any way with your health and you want to optimize your nutrition, if you want to get your energy back and get back on track, because I've had a couple people reach out and said, I don't really need to lose weight. Is this a good fit for me? I'm like, it is if you want to optimize your nutrition and optimize your habits. I personally believe we can always do a better job with our nutrition and with our habits. I always believe there's a next level with that even if it's on point, it could even go better. So we would love to have you join us, midlifemetabolism.com, or check the show notes. And honey, thank you for being on here with me and your precious time to do this.
You're welcome, honey.
All right, you guys, I hope to see you inside the challenge and have an amazing day and week. Okay, bye-bye. Girlfriend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm so honored you come back every week and that you share the Fit Soul podcast with your friends and family. Every time you share my podcast on Instagram or Facebook, I do a little happy dance. Make sure you subscribe to the Fit Soul podcast where you'll never miss an episode. You can go to Podcast, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify and subscribe so you'll never miss an episode release. And just know, I truly love bringing you excellent content and great guests to provide you motivation and faith inspiration to help you walk worthy. And one of the ways you can help me is to go and leave the Fit Soul podcast a review. If you have just a moment, would you please go over and leave a review for the Fit Soul podcast? Thank you again. I love you. And here is your reminder. You are worthy. Until next time. Bye-bye.